What I think about Mr. Sang is that I think he's a really great teacher. I like what he teaches us about how to shoot photos and how to shoot them well, accurate, and precise, and how he tries to motivate us to get out and shoot some photos. And I like how he tries to kind of let us think about what we want to shoot and how we want to do it. I like how we just have this idea of creativity and originality in our photos.
Mark Sang, photography teacher for the last, I believe I'm in my 18th year. I started September 2003.
Teaching actually kids how to load film is one of the most aggravating things in the world because it's I think it's just because it's so tactile, but.
My favorite camera has been the same camera that's been my favorite camera since 2007 when I bought it. It's a Leica MP. I guess one main reason I like that camera is I got it because it's really quiet. Then one time I was traveling and I was in a train and I wanted to take a picture of somebody, and I just knew that if I took a picture they would hear me because, you know, cameras, you don't realize how loud they are until you're in a quiet situation.
Pull to the film lever, pops up the back, which you never want to do if there's film. If you're wondering, if you're not sure if there's actual film in there, people just need to realize you just need to turn this, and if it's all loosey, then there's no film in it.
Well, the first thing that just popped in my mind is, I don't know, everybody says I'm sassy, but I think they're confusing that for sarcasm. So I don't know if you would agree with that. I needed a class, so my friend's brother was taking photos, so I took a photo. I didn't have a camera, so I got into the class. And then, strangely, actually, I was trying to drop the class. I just remember the photo teacher was really kind of in a bad mood that first day and said that the class was overcrowded and that if you didn't really want to be in the class, you should drop it. And I took that literally. I wasn't offended by it. I just made an appointment with my counselor and I just said I wanted to drop a photo, and he asked me why. And I said, well, the teacher said that it was really crowded. If I didn't really want to be in there, I should drop it. And he just looked at me and just goes, well, a lot of people really wanted to take it. You have, it's just to do it. Right.
Never touch the shutter. Film goes in one way. I always slight angle, push this down.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the class, and I thought I really liked her as a teacher. And I remember popped in my head like the first time I had an independent thought of, oh, it'd be cool to be a photo teacher, like earn a living as a photo teacher.
Take a picture, advance it, take a picture, advance it so it looks like that.
I couldn't think of anything else that I wanted to do except for photography. I guess I just realized that you should do something that you really loved.
If it doesn't go down all the way, you just turn it until it does. On the Pentax K1000, you want to make sure that it's loose and not kind of wedged in there. That's one problem, and it just feeds in. Has to be touching the bottom.
I think I went back to school to get a degree in photography and to sort of open more doors because I just didn't really know kind of thing. I didn't think it would hurt. That strangely, that turned out to be a good move on my part. But that led me into art, like exhibition art. So I was doing whatever freelance I could do, raising kids, going to school, and then I got into art exhibition.
Close the back. One little trick that I do is I turn this in the direction of the arrow. Do you remember I always yelled at kids, don't turn it against the arrow?
I think that's why I like street photography so much now, because everything I did was very conceptual, very set up and staged. So street photography is just sort of more hunting. I feel like just being ready and hunting for amazing images that only exist for a split second.
For some reason, teenagers always people want to turn it, and I go, why do you want to do that? They go, I just thought you're supposed to go against the arrow. I'm like, the arrow's there for a reason. So.
I like it. I mean, I was really surprised at how much I fell in love with it, really. You think of teenagers, you just think of like sort of unruly we were all teenagers. That's basically where it comes from. So young adults learning to act appropriately for the first time in their lives.
The other way to check to make sure that you load film correctly, because back in the day, that's why people would take photo classes, because they would go on European vacations and realize that they never took any pictures.
When I think about kids and what to get out of photography, because I know that not all of them want to be photographers, some of them are, but I always sort of tell the other kids it's like just problem solving, just problem solving, paying attention to details.
I wasn't really much of a photographer. I did take photos here and there on my cell phone, but I just didn't know what it was like. I didn't know what the experience is like until I went to his classroom.
You turn this until it stops, you take a picture, and then when it advances and turns, that's how you know you're hooked up. And you have to take 2 shots to get the dead film out of the way. And then you're ready to go. So, that's film loading. It's pretty easy, right?
Oh my gosh, that's the thing I missed the most this past year from because of the COVID and stuff like that. As I touch my face. Yeah, I love taking kids on field trips, mostly because I teach in a very South Orange County school. You can interpret that any way you want to. So I'll take them on the train, go to Los Angeles, or go to San Diego. Those are the primary destinations. I used to try to get to Riverside, and that's mostly because of the train as well too. One, I love public transportation. And I like going to cities because it's nice. You know, I grew up in suburbia as well too, so it's kind of cool to get them out. And I just would take them to areas that I used to go to. You know, I would go to the Artist District. And then Hollywood just happened to be, you know, because I like to go work our ways at Sammy's Camera or to LACMA. And then also field a lot of street photography because we're all walking. Because people get really interested in taking pictures of things that they're not used to seeing. So, yeah, I miss it a lot. Not to dismiss, of course, the tragedy of COVID and the loss of, what, over 500,000 or 600,000 US lives, but personally it was you know, you had to dig deep and to adjust, and that was in a way refreshing just because, you know, in life, it's really easy to get into routines where you just sort of do the same thing and you want to try different things, but you're just like, it's you don't do it because of the convenience, which I guess relates to the creative thing as well. I had to consciously just go, okay, just take pictures. And I always carry my camera around with me. I actually use my smartphone a little bit more too, like just little rides. Like not everything has to be a masterpiece. Not everything has to be Instagram worthy. I think that you're one step ahead. If you're concerned that you don't have a passion, then you're ahead of the rest. When you're 40, 50, and look back and say you at least tried. So, you know. But yeah, passion is so important. I think it's the most important thing in your life. I think it's going to be the difference of you hating your life when you're older. So, no, I don't know. For some reason, I learned that really early in life. I think because I dropped out of high school and I worked full time shipping and receiving, and I worked with people that were like in their 30s and 50s as a teenager. And I also worked this one job at Leisure World. I was a waiter at Leisure World, and I had to wake up at like 5 a.m. in the morning, and I hated it. And I thought to myself, like, I couldn't imagine having to do this for the rest of my life. And I think I was lucky for that experience. I'm like, I just, you know, I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning just so I could ride my bike here, and I've been doing that since 2008. So that's a good sign.
If I were to describe him in a few words, is just a really great guy. I like him. He's one of my favorite teachers.
All right, Taylor.
Later, Sang.
Have a good weekend. Thanks for the interview. You too. Thank you.